So you want to apply for Air Force Officer Training School. Here's a few tips and tricks that I use to get accepted, whether you're like me, you're prior enlisted, or you're coming from the civilian world. And thank you for subscribing and recommending me to make this video. So first up, you're going to need to, there's a few things you need to do. You need to take a Air Force Officer qualifying test. You're going to have education degree. You're going to have the physical requirements, age, health, etc. So let's get into more specifics on that. First up, education. A bachelor's degree is required. You have to be within 1 year of earning that degree. Now, a STEM degree in that science, technology, engineering, math is not required. I had, of course, a STEM degree, being a biologist, but certain degrees are more sought after. And in the links below, I will have a recommended degrees. You can kind of see like what they're looking for. As example, aerospace engineering is more sought after than, say, English or history, things like that. But it doesn't mean you won't get qualified or accepted because you have an English degree. Especially if you're willing to, or aiming for a job like missileer or some of your pilot slots. Your rated slots. They're looking at your like your navigator and your pilot ratings, your PCSM score, which includes previous flying hours. So your degree, I wouldn't say it doesn't matter, but it's less important there because they're looking at other qualifying factors. So you can be a pilot with an English degree. Absolutely. It's absolutely fine. With your Air Force Officer qualifying test, there are minimums that are out there. I'll talk about that more later on. But think heavy aeronautical ratings if you're really trying to go that pilot nav rating. Age got to be between 18 and 42. Health, you got to meet the Air Force physical standards for mental and physical health. I'm not a doctor, so you can look those up and kind of see what the requirements are there, what disqualifying factors are out there. GPA, not a strict kind of like guidelines, though I can tell you. GPA of a 3 or higher is generally recommended. There's waivers possible for a lower GPA, maybe for other qualified candidates in other areas. They'll say minimum of 2.5 for non-rated positions, but 3.0 is generally recommended for if you're trying to go for a rated slot. 3.5 is considered more competitive. So I was above a 3.5. I was more qualified with a STEM degree, but it helps out. The Air Force will conduct a background check thoroughly. So be honest with your recruiter or whoever source you're going through. Don't hide anything there. The application process, you have to reach out to a recruiter, let them know what you're going to. But be thorough. If they're asking for any documents, make sure you don't wait and bring those things on. There's going to be set timelines with those. For the Air Force Officer Qualifying Test, so here are your averages for selections for OTS. For pilot, 69.18. Navigator is 70. Academic aptitude is 63. Verbal is only a 63. Quantitative is a 61. Score well on those. Make sure you practice. You can generally only take it 2 times. Maybe you can get a waiver. And then there's probably a 6-month, probably a gap between when you take those. Interview can be conducted with Air Force active duty officers. I've now conducted several of those interviews before, so talk about that if you want a video on that. You will undergo a medical examination. You'll apply which career fields you want. Understand that generally the application acceptance rate is below 20%. It's very rare to be above that. Some years around that 7 to 10%. I got accepted, it was a 10% acceptance rate. By example, comparison, the Air Force Academy has an acceptance rate of 14%. So it was higher in that year, and typically is higher at Air Force Academy. Timeline can take a while. Be persistent. Make sure you follow up again with a recruiter, as I said. All right. So you got in, you got accepted. Awesome. Now you're getting into, it's kind of broken down into modules, these 5 modules, how it's broken down for the training period. You show up for in-processing. Great. You get there. If you don't already have uniforms because you didn't pre-buy them, you're going to do uniform purchase. You're going to learn basic drill, how to marching, real simple in that module, early module. You'll have a dorm instruction inspections. They'll tell you how to set up your dorm room. Make sure you follow directions. Can you make your bed? Can you make sure it does dust-free? Follow up on those things. Don't wait. Customs and courtesies. You're going to learn how to salute. It's not that difficult. Can you follow instructions? You can practice all this stuff before you go. I will say, use this time to get to know not just your flight mates. Those are going to be your friends for life. I guarantee you. I've kept in contact with my flight mates. They're all amazing people. But also, if you have a chance, reach out and connect with other people from other flights. I wish I had done that in more of the other flights. Recent years, I've connected with some of my OTS fellow commissionees, other officers that are out there that maybe I should have gotten to know during OTS. There's amazing people out there. You're all going through the same journey. You're all going through the same struggle, but it's fun. You're going to do that. All right, so week 2 is over. We're going to module 2. Module 2 continues to develop your skills, knowledge, physical endurance. Again, you're going to have more PT and stuff. You're going to have a blue line ceremony. You will cross over officially. You want to stay in the program. There's going to be some writing. You're going to learn basic Department of the Air Force writing. If you haven't looked at the Tongue and Quill writing guide, be familiar with it, how you can do some writing. It'll help you a lot. Combatives, it's fun. If you like, it's not like really advanced jiu-jitsu, but I like videos on UFC. I did a little wrestling. I love that stuff. It was really, it's a fun thing. About a week of that. Intro to wargaming, some digital wargaming. It's really fun. Leadership reaction course. My group, I think we had 14 in my group, and we completed 9 of the Project Egg obstacles. That's not the goal. It's just to complete those things. We worked well as a team. Great. We could follow instructions, but it's how well you can lead and how well you can give those directions. And I'm not assigning if I don't assign a timekeeper, I don't assign like a backup, and I get taken out. Well, how is it going to get done? That's really what it's about, and focusing on how well you can lead out there. Then we step into that module 3, and then we're really looking into that multi-capable airman. You're going to look at rapid mobilization, how well you can execute the mission, really advancing your physical readiness, progressing through that. So you're going to do the leadership reaction course, briefing, see how well you can brief. As an officer, you have to be able to brief in the Air Force. I brief lots of higher up officers and stuff. It's pretty basic. The rappel tower, it's fun. Then you go into tactical combat casualty care. I'm an instructor, so it used to be SABC, but I was an EMT, so pretty basic medical things. Nothing difficult there. Then you have expeditionary skills program. It's really fun. Again, just progressing through that readiness, getting you ready so you can handle more advanced things. All right, moving on to module 4, comprehensive joint planning. So thinking about that, not just Air Force, Department of Air Force, but also some things we might do with our Army partners and stuff. Again, mission command experiences, how well you can really think from that higher echelon view. It's good problem-solving techniques, but you want to boost that confidence out there. More physical challenges. If there's another class that's there with you, you'll have a chance to interact with them and provide some mentorship. But Module 4 is awesome. So then you step into that Module 5. That's the 5th one. That's it. That's the end. Officer training focuses on maintaining that warfighter advantage through your previously acquired skills. So you want to build upon. It's a continuous build upon play. Also, it's going to give you the assault course, lower classroom mentorship. They'll have, of course, your family day, graduation, your parade. Those are all fun things out there. I will say of note, so if you look it up, Air Force Officer Training School, like I said, is harder to get into if you are prior enlisted versus a civilian for a lower acceptance rate for enlisted. I don't know why that is. Maybe more enlisted apply with not the same skills, but expect you to come to OTS already prepared, ready to go. So you look at the other commissioning sources; they're much longer. They have more time to develop you. OTS is short, so you only have those couple months really where they have you versus 4 years at the academy, or 4 or 5 years, maybe even at an ROT type source. So I've got some resources below, and also it is noted that some enlisted members have a difficult time making that transition into the officer or world. They feel like they have to stay for hours extra at work, and they just can't shut it off, and they feel like they have to stay there and constantly work. There's always going to be more work to do. So thank you again for subscribing, and thanks for the recommendations. And if you have any more questions on what it's like and some more tips, tricks, happy to answer.